Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is a rant. Now we haven't had one for quite a long time, so I think one is due. And it's going to go round in circles, I know it is, but it's based on comments. Now, I get regular commenters, some that just say, thanks for the video. It's a simple comment. It will get a response, you're welcome. And others will say, great video, and I'll say, thanks. Yeah. So it's a comment, it's greatly appreciated, and it helps YouTube promote the channel the more comments there are, because that's part of YouTube's engagement algorithm. I bet they're using AI now, I bet they are. And to some extent that might be a good thing. Because some people do make some right whatnots, don't they? Anyway, comments. Regular commenters, greatly appreciated. In amongst the watchers, the viewers, are many that view most of my videos and very, very rarely make a comment. But I know who they are by when they do make a comment. So I've got no problems with that. People's time is not mine to choose what to do with. But then you get people who come in that I've never heard of. So I can guarantee, because I've got a good memory, that they've never left a comment before. The chances are they've just found a single video to watch from the selection, that you get given by YouTube. This is what all creators strive to be in, is that list of things that YouTube are currently promoting. If you can get in there, you obviously get a lot more people watching your video than you would do if it wasn't there. So this is what we strive for. Mouth won't work and I haven't even started yet. I will start. Cheers. Right. So I get comments from people that I've never heard of. That doesn't mean to say they're watching their first of my videos, but it's more likely. Now, if somebody watches a video and leaves a criticism, I'm actually quite happy with that. I will, if I think their criticism is just wrong, fundamentally wrong, so they haven't got all the facts or whatever, I will just put a heart, which means I've read it. It doesn't mean I agree with it, it doesn't mean I disagree with it, but it means I'm not prepared to leave a comment because I can't be bothered to start arguments in the comment section. I've seen in the past where that can lead, so I don't do it. But what annoys me more than anything, which is what the rant is about, is somebody coming cold to the channel and getting part way through a video and firing off with a comment without watching the rest of the video. And they are fundamentally wrong. And they put the comment in such a way that they are an authority on orchids. Who are these people? I mean, I had a classic one, it's not actually an offensive one, it just annoyed me a little bit, that basically so-and-so, 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 we recommend this. Who the hell's we? Who are you representing? Who is we? I means this is what I think, yeah? I believe. I'm all right with that. But you don't put we without basically establishing who the hell we is. You might represent a huge orchid nursery in the EU. Well, I don't know that, do I? You're just Fred Bloggs, Joe Smith. So, if you're going to use terms like that, you need to identify who you are, or I will ignore you. Or I will query. In this particular case, I said, who are we? Because I'm not prepared to just accept that statement, It might have been a perfectly valid statement, but just done in the wrong way. But you get those that come in with an authoritative manner, based on nothing. You have a look at their ID, there's nothing in there, there's no videos, they haven't even got a picture of an orchid to represent anything. It's just Joe Bloggs. and they haven't watched the whole video, and that gets annoying as far as I'm concerned. Now what sparked this off, which is somebody who either didn't watch the whole video or didn't listen or didn't understand. You know, the hard of understanding rather than the hard of hearing. It could be both. And it's basically the repot of the Dracula that I've just done. Now I made very great efforts to show what new growths look like. They are flat because they will open up into a leaf eventually. They start from the base of the plant pointing directly upwards. I made specific efforts to show what the roots look like, including the new roots growing from the plant. I showed them, I pointed them out with my finger. And then we came to what I thought was a spike, because it didn't look like either of those. Therefore, what could it be? And somebody comes straight in, it's not a spike, they grow downwards. I'd already explained in part of the video that they don't all grow downwards. Some do, but not all. Some Dracula spikes come out from the base of the plant and hang over the side of the pot or out from the mount, however you're growing them. They don't all grow straight downwards. So don't spark off with an authoritative manner stating what you believe to be a fact when you haven't even watched the whole video. Hence the rant. And in that particular case I was so annoyed I removed the comment. Now that's rare. I always give people a chance. I try to be fair. And I also think that some people actually read the comments and actually get a bit of fun out of it, perhaps, I don't know. But there's often questions that get answers in the comments that are in addition to what was in the video, so I can sort of see the point. But I won't tolerate authoritative manners that are effectively wrong. And they've been sparked off partway through a video, couldn't even be bothered to watch the rest of it. As I said, all the information was there in that video showing the various elements on that particular Dracula. They're not all the same. We all know that. You know, even our bog standard Phalaenopsis, they're not all the same. Some grow much more better root systems than others. Some are very difficult to get a decent root system. Some like brighter light than others. Some like it warmer than others. They're not all the same. And I like to think that a lot of those differences are what I try and put out on this channel to help people see these differences. Hopefully with actual demonstrations, actual visuals, actually this is it. Look at this bit, look at this bit, look at this bit. I try and do that. But yeah, I do get the rats sometimes with people just what I call blurting in. They've come in cold, probably only found one video, decided to watch a bit of it, and there are types on YouTube that go round looking to cause trouble. That's what they're out to do. They're out to stir up trouble. Go and play on Facebook. There's a lot of it on Facebook. We don't get too much of that on the orchid community on YouTube. There's very little of it. And I will do my best to stamp it out on my channel because I don't want it. Go and play somewhere else. I just don't want you here. Yeah? As I said, I don't mind fair criticism, and I don't mind people with knowledge and background putting me right. In fact, I'm happy to have that happen. But there are ways of making those types of comments that come across nicely. I mean, I've had somebody give me a big long lecture on how to grow zygopetalums. Gratefully received. And actually cut and pasted into a Word document and stored away in my archives. That good. That wasn't rejected because it was put in such a way as somebody being helpful, not criticising. There is a difference. So yeah, a little bit of a rant. We don't do it very often, do we? I've just had a look ahead, and We're going to have, you know, it's like, it's an English expression that only really relates to London. And it's the 37 bus syndrome. You know, you wait for half an hour when they're supposed to be every 5 or 10 minutes, and then they all come at once. 37 bus syndrome. It's the circular route. And what happens is you get a load of people at a bus stop, so one of the circular buses pulls in. Obviously it takes quite a long time for those people to get on. You know, some have got a bus pass, some have got to pay, all that sort of stuff. And it stops that bus from moving. In the meantime, the one behind catches it up. Yeah? And because this one at the front has picked up all the passengers, the ones behind haven't got many to pick. And they all bump up together, and sometimes you see them in a convoy. It's that bad. 37 bus syndrome. They all come at once. And I've got a bit of that coming up with the videos. We've got Everything in Bloom on the 8th. We've got the Project Orchids are due another one in the near future. I've got some trips coming up. I've got the garden party coming up where I'll be filming Alan's grow spaces. So we've got a little butting up of videos, whereas at the moment I've got nothing to film. It really is that bad at the moment. There's no new spikes. I'm not planning on repotting much. I mean, that repot I did with the Dracula was only really to get it in a more sensible pot for the type of plant it is. All I did was replace moss with moss, you know, but it's now in an open basket where, you know, if that spike decides to come out sideways, it's got some holes to get out. It's not going to grow downwards, it's got a slight curve. As you saw, those that watched the whole thing, it curves slightly upwards. So I think it's actually going to come out at the base of the plant and hang over the side. I think that's what it's going to do. So we shall see, hopefully, if it is a spike and it does grow on. But my, you know, sort of analysis can't see it being anything else. Doesn't mean to say it's going to mature and bloom though. You know, we shall have to wait and see. So yeah, as I say, a bit of a rant. And just to think about the comments. I appreciate all comments, and all comments get an answer, even if it's just thanks. You know, as I said, the simple thing that says great video, it'll get thanks as an answer. It gets an answer. You get a heart if I can't be bothered with the argument, or you've made a statement, so there isn't like anything for me to say. You see what I'm getting at? If it's a statement, it's not a question, it doesn't warrant an answer. It still warrants me reading it and acknowledging that I've read it, so I'll put a heart on it. Every single comment gets something, and that's how I work. And I can't ever see my channel getting big enough for me not to do that. I know some channels, they've got so big and they get so many comments, they'd have to take a day off to put an answer on all of them. And I know they're just not going to do it. How they even select which comments to put an answer on, I really don't know. I'd hate to have to make that choice. But I'm not in that position yet. I say yet. Living in hope. Dreamland, I would prefer to call it. But yeah, at the moment, I'm quite happy to answer every comment and have a bit of pleasure doing it. It's my first thing in the morning job, because as I've said before, as I get a form of income from YouTube, I see it as a job. I'm retired from proper work, as you might call it, so YouTube I see as my job. Orchids are my hobby, YouTube is my job, and part of that job is dealing with comments. I see it as a role that I need to do. Not everybody does, I know, but I do. Anyway, there you go. We haven't had a rant for a long time. I noticed another type of video that we haven't had for a very long time. It's not the most popular one because it involves people leaving an answer in the comments. And I know there's a lot of cheats who read the comments, have a look at the most popular answer and add their answer to it based on that when they haven't actually worked out the answer. But that's naughty. But I haven't done a music quiz for a long time. That doesn't mean I'm going to do one. It was just one of the types of videos. I was looking through my content basically to look at the types of videos I do to see if anything would trigger that I could do now while things are a bit slim picking sort of thing. And I just noticed the music videos. Now they're based on me leaving links to YouTube videos of bands playing a song. And there is something in common with all of them. Now it achieves multiple purposes. It's not just a little quiz, because it gets people to listen and see a band they may never have heard of, and they might like it. They might then do a YouTube search and find some more, and only like the one that I put up, not like the rest of them. But you know what I mean. I haven't done one of those for a long time, but it doesn't mean I'm going to do one. I'm just thinking about it. But they don't get a huge amount of views, because the video itself is just me saying there's a music quiz, the links are in the description. You know, that's the top end of it, the YouTube bit. And then people who choose to join in and fancy doing that sort of thing, go and click on the links, watch the band, you know, video in question on YouTube, and then try and have a think about what might be the common denominator. What have they all got in common? They can be very simple. They can be very complex, the ones I've done in the past. I mean, for an example, one of the things in common, because the bands were very diverse in music style, everything. They were very, very diverse. And the thing in common was all the singers had blonde hair. It's funny, not many people got that, because they were thinking too deep. Sometimes the answer's simplistic. Anyway, I have done that sort of thing in the past, and they don't get many views because the video itself is not that interesting. It's the little sort of quiz, the little competition thing that's going on underneath. So anyway, a little rant on comments out of the blue, I'll call them. And as I said, I know my regular viewers. And I know even when they leave a comment once in a blue moon, I still know who you are. And I still appreciate your company and the fact that I know in the background you're watching, even though you don't necessarily leave comments. And all of you regular viewers are all appreciated. What I'm not so keen on is people jumping in on one single video, not watching all of it, and then spouting off as though they're the world's leading authority. They might be, and I could be wrong. Yeah, maybe not. I will see you next time. Thanks for putting up with this waffle, and yeah, don't forget, it's a community. The YouTube orchid community is just that. It's got a lot smaller as the last couple of years have progressed. It tried to get bigger, and a lot of the new people trying to join in just failed because it's so difficult to get going on YouTube. But that doesn't mean to say some of those people are not trying and continuing to try. And that's the only way to progress on YouTube. You've got to keep at it. Depressing though it might be sometimes, if you don't keep at it, you will do that. You have to keep the pressure on and gradually and steadily creep upwards. And who knows, one day you might put that video up that goes viral and suddenly you're famous. I'm still trying, still haven't found that magic one, but somehow or other, often it's an unknown, you know, a very small channel just sort of getting going and this, that and the other, and they find a magic formula that starts the views rolling. It catches on and it does that, and then suddenly their channel and that video is in front of everybody's eyes to see, and most of those people will subscribe, and boy have you got to try hard for your next video if that ever happens to you. I think some people have actually made a living out of one viral video, but imagine if you got your viral video before you were monetized. A horrible thought. It can happen, you know. Anyway, I live for that day. Maybe it'll happen one day, probably not. And I will see you next time. What's today? Friday. I haven't got a clue what I'm going to film tomorrow at the moment, but you know, ideas pop up, boing, a little light bulb moment may occur. We may miss tomorrow and just go straight to the Sunday chat. So there we go, and I hope, I can't see as my rant has upset anybody apart from perhaps the one or two that I've picked on, but I've picked on them for a reason, because they make a point. That was the point of the rant. And in the meantime, thanks to all my regular viewers, thanks to all my regular commenters, thanks to all the people who've become members on YouTube and on the Patreon site, and thanks for the support. It's greatly appreciated. And you know, I try and do my bit and put the videos out there. You try and do your bit when you've got some spare time to watch the videos, leave a comment, do the old thumbs up. You've done that, haven't you? Haven't you? No, I'll do it now then. And I will see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.